While Minnesota is home to some trophy caliber muskie, pike, and walleye, there are even bigger fish that roam these waters, and their popularity is growing. Two fish come to mind when I think of giants in the state that don't get the respect they deserve, with one being the sturgeon, and the other, a catfish. There are three primary species of catfish in the U.S., with two of them residing in Minnesota. The channel catfish is high in numbers, popular table fare, and found in many lakes and rivers, but they're relatively small in size to the other catfish that can be found here, the flathead. When I was asking around about flathead catfish in Minnesota, one name kept coming up, Darren Trosek. Darren owns and guides for Three Rivers Fishing Adventures based in the Twin Cities, but he grew up on Lake Vermilion fishing for walleyes. When he moved to the cities for work, he began fishing from docks and piers.
You know, I wasn't really interested in catching a catfish, to be honest with you. But one day, I had some sucker minnows. I was pike fishing, and my bait died. So I was like, you know, I'm just gonna take a walk down there and just give it a try. So I had my bass rod that I was fishing for pike with, and threw out a chunk of sucker, just like what we're fishing with here today. And I hooked up within 15 minutes, and it was like a 45-pounder.
Oh, geez.
And I broke my rod, and I was up to my knees in mud, and you know, it changed my whole world of fishing, you know. And from that day on, you know, I've just loved being down here. So.
People know that there's catfish here in Minnesota, but I think if you talk to the average person, sometimes even just the average angler, they won't really know that there's different types of catfish here, or they might just think of channel catfish, or some people don't realize how big these flatheads get here in Minnesota.
Right. There's some really big fish, and the funny thing is when people see it, they're like, well, I'm never going on that river, you know. They get scared of it when they realize how big a fish are out here. You know, there's, you know, 50-pounders aren't common, but there are 50-pounders, there's 60-pounders. I'm sure there's probably 70-pounders swimming around down here, so.
Yeah. The state record is 70 pounds. It might possibly never be broken because most flathead anglers don't keep what they catch.
I want to say 5 or 6 years ago, they started doing a catch and release record where you just document the length, you know, and then release it, which is kind of nice. You don't have to kill a big fish like that.
Yeah.
And that's currently 52 inches, I think, which is, you know, probably 60 to 65 pounds, you know, maybe even a little bit heavier than that. So
that's generally the people that target flatheads. It's pretty much all catch and release on flatheads.
Yeah.
Explain to people why that is.
Well, first thing is the flatheads are so slow growing. I mean, you catch a 50-pounder, it's probably, you know, 25, 30 years old. So you think about what it took to get that fish that big. With any fish species, when you're talking about the trophy caliber, it's always the top 10%. I just feel you have to protect those fish. You know, those are the fish you want to protect, because that's what keeping people out here doing it, is catching those big fish, you know. And you take a fish like that out of the system, well, you got 25 years to replace that fish now. It's not like a trophy deer where you replace it in, you know, 3 to 5 years. You know, you're 25 years you got to wait. So, and I think it's kind of like that with all species in Minnesota. They're all just slow growing, you know, even 10 or 11-inch panfish. You just want to let that fish go. That's always been my philosophy. So.
Big flatheads aren't the only fish Darren likes to target.
Yeah, I lucked out and caught a pretty big sturgeon, actually.
Yeah.
I do a lot of sturgeon fishing in the fall, and we've been doing some through the ice as well, and happened to hook into a real big one.
We have not seen this fish. I've been fighting it for 10 minutes.
Obviously, it's a little different game. You know, you're expecting to catch big fish. So the first thing we do is we're drilling, you know, 3 holes kind of in a triangle shape.
So you actually drilled those holes ahead of time in anticipation of catching some big fish out there.
Yeah, that's generally what we do. And that particular night was late in the season. We had, I want to say, 25 to 26 inches of ice, which is, I mean, that's a lot of ice for the metro area. So, you know, drilling through that much ice, you know, connected, you're just piles of slush, you know, and it's a lot of work to drill 4 sets. So we had 2 guys and we used 2 lines each, so 4 sets of 3 holes, you know. By the end of it, you're just, you know, dead tired. And I told my friend John, I was like, you know, I'm beat. I'm just gonna do a double hole in this last one. I don't want to do the third one. You know, I'm just gonna skip it. And I said, you watch, we'll probably get the big fish on that one too, you know.
Been sitting here for 3 hours with not a single blip on the sonar, and all of a sudden we get 1 mark, and
Oh man.
that was the first mark we'd seen on the sonar all night.
So I fought it for probably 15 minutes probably.
And there he goes again.
Anytime I get him close, he's just gone.
And it finally came up, and we both just, our jaws just dropped. I was like, oh my God, this is never coming up this double hole.
Gaining quite a bit on him. Oh, I saw something.
I saw bubbles.
Oh yeah, I see
Bubbles.
him. Hold on, I see him. He's right here. He's right here. Got bubbles. He's a big fish. Real big fish.
Bubbles up all of the holes at the same time.
I mean, I'm not even sure it's going to come up the triple hole. It's sure not coming up this double hole.
It's a big fish. Oh, I see him down that hole. There he is. Oh my gosh.
Oh my God, dude.
Are you kidding me?
We are not getting that up that hole.
Oh my gosh.
He's not coming through there.
This is a 100-pounder.
Yeah, he's not coming through there. It's a 100-pound fish.
And we're like, well, what are we going to do now? And so our first thing we wanted to do was maybe bridge the 2 sets of 3 and try to expand it that way. And
What if we
Cut a bridge?
cut a bridge here, and then I can go? I think that might be the best option.
Yeah.
This is mayhem, man.
my drill was acting up, you know, after drilling all those holes, and the battery was just kind of acting wonky. And I said, you know, we got to do something else. So I run this sturgeon Facebook group, and I told John, I said, ping the group and see if anyone's out here, and see if we can get someone to come over and help us with a gas auger, you know, maybe a 10-incher if possible. And sure enough, he posted, and probably 3 minutes later, someone replied and said, you know, we're going to come help you. So
I've been fighting this fish for probably, I don't know, 45 minutes. It's not so much the fight. We can't get him through the hole. We got backup coming with a 10-inch auger. They're going to ream this out for us, because this is easily a 100-pound fish, without a doubt. Biggest fish I've ever seen.
And so what's funny, it's a spot I've never fished for, you know, before ever, in just a random spot.
I've heard stories of people seeing fish like this.
Do you need some of that ice scooped out, or?
I think I'm good. I can probably get it.
He gets paranoid when I do it. He thinks I'm gonna clip his line, so we'll let him take care of that while he's fighting that
All I'm
fish.
saying is, if I lose this, I want it to be my fault.
Yeah, exactly.
So we fought it for another, I don't know, 15 minutes. We had to fight the fish again and got it up. And now we have 26 inches of ice to get that, you know, 78-inch fish vertical.
Oh my gosh! Look at that.
Holy!
My buddy got down and just went all the way down to a shoulder and reached down and put his hand in the mouth.
Careful!
That's
careful! Hold that
massive.
line. Let me go. Careful. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god! I don't know if he's gonna fit, man. I don't want to put too much pressure on
I
him,
think
though.
he'll fit. Oh my god.
Got him? You got something.
Jeez.
You got something. All right, we got him.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. All right, I think we got him. Watch that hook.
On the ice.
All right. Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Hey, man.
Oh my god. That's nuts.
Oh no. That's what I'm talking about, boys. He's falling.
I mean, putting your arm in ice cold water is not as easy as you think. You know, everyone's like, oh, you just reach down and grab it. I mean, it's painful. I mean, he kind of took one for the team there, so it was a team effort for sure. But yeah, and we got it up on the ice, and it's the biggest fish I've ever seen. You know, I've caught, you know, 80 to 100-pound fish before, but it was just blows them all out of the water. And
Oh my god.
I went deep.
That is nuts.
Pull it from here.
Got it.
78 inches.
we measured it, and with the sturgeon, they have a new catch and release record as well. So we measured it, documented, sent it in, and got the new record.
That's awesome. Wow.
Oh, there you go. Woo!
Nice, congratulations.
I might be done ice fishing. I don't think I want. Honestly, I don't know if I want to experience that again. That was
Come on, dude. That was awesome.
awesome. But man,
That took a team effort.
holy cow.
Back to flatheads. What's your big flathead then?
So my biggest flathead is roughly 57 pounds. It's when you get a big fish like that, it's tough to weigh. That's why we do mostly measurements, kind of measure length and girth. You know, you're trying to weigh. That's another thing people don't realize. Why, you know, try to get an accurate weight. Well, you're weighing them, the scale's bouncing around, the fish is flopping around. You know, you get an approximate weight. So I say about 57 pounds. You know, you know, give or take, you know, maybe 10%. I don't know.
Well, and that fish might be a couple of pounds different
Right.
than, you know, a few hours later, the next day, whatever, depending on what they're eating.
Yep.
So
They will definitely eat a 5-pound bait. So, yeah, that's 10% there.
So we've been out here for a little while. We got out about 6 o'clock tonight. What's an average night? You know, I always see these cat fishermen fishing after dark out here. Is it better after dark?
You can catch them all throughout the day, especially this this pre-spawn period, which is usually they go into spawn kind of beginning to mid-July. That pre-spawn period, you can catch them all throughout the day. They're really hungry. They're putting the feed bag on, and there does seem to be a period, you know, from 8 to midnight where it's better than the rest of the day. So that's kind of what I target because I've had the most luck doing that. But there's guys that'll come out during the day and do that too. So I just prefer the evening. It's super relaxing. Like I was telling someone I could come out here and even if I knew I wasn't going to catch any fish, I just love being out here. It's just my sanctuary.
And once the sun went down, we had our first bit of action.
Yeah, cool channel. Got the skunk out of the boat though, right?
That's right. So explain the difference between a channel and a flathead.
So a channel cat, the first distinct difference is the fork tail. Now you got the fork tail here. And the difference between the blue and the channel cat is this anal fin here. You can count these rays. And a blue cat will be really angled, sharp angle, and this is kind of rounded. And the smaller channel cats you'll see will have these spots. When they get bigger, they kind of lose those spots. And then the flathead will have a much bigger head, and a flathead will have an underbite actually, so the bottom lip will be over the top lip.
Catfish in the Minnesota River. Well, it was closing in on midnight, but we weren't done quite yet. As we started to pack up, we strategically left our baits in the water.
Take them. There you go. You got them.
Oh, yeah.
You got to be kidding me. I just took the light off.
Of course you did.
We were literally packing up here. That's the live bait, so.
Okay. Oh, so it could be. Could be a
The way it
flathead.
was running, it might be a channel cat, but
Definitely bigger than the last one.
little
There it is.
flatty.
Hey, there's our flathead. Right at the end of the night.
Literally packing
Nice.
up. That's funny.
That's
All right.
great. You know, people will never believe this either. It's like, they just edited the TV show to look like you caught it at the last minute. It seems like this happens all the time.
And it's not a giant, but guess what?
It's a flathead.
It's a flathead. We talked about this earlier. This has the flat tail on him versus the fork tail. That one's got a flat tail, and then this mouth got the underbite, and you can see it's much larger. He's got his pads on top here, pads at the bottom, and some pads way down in there for holding bait, but there you go, here's your fish.
Flathead from the Minnesota River.
Not a big one, but they get a lot bigger, but hey, it's better
That's
than
the
nothing.
fish we
right?
were looking for. Darren, thank you very much.
Yeah, that was fun. No, actually.
There he goes.
Nice.
Heck yeah.
That's crazy.
Isn't that hilarious? Right at the end, every time.